Welcome and thank you very much everyone watching this tutorial. This tutorial is about the typologies of public policy, typologies in a sense, classifications of public policy. And public policy can be classified on different on different characteristics. Okay, it is a tendency of its characteristics that gave it different formats. And let us see the general categorizations of the public policy. And there are substantive and procedural policies, distributive, regulatory, self-regulatory, redistributive policies. Okay, material and symbolic policies, liberal and conservative policies. Thus, all taxonomies are based on different criteria, on different features of the public policy itself. And we will be dealing with each category of public policy. One of the category of public policy is that substantive policies. Okay, substantive policies. Substantive policies involve what government is going to do. Okay, it is about what government will give to the society, to the people of the country. Example: construction of highways, payment of welfare benefits, social security prohibition of liquor, acquisition of pumpers, education and employment opportunities, economic stabilization, law and order enforcement, anti-pollution laws, subsidy payment to assist the small farmers, etc. It is about directly distributing advantages and disadvantages, benefits and costs to the people. Okay, the name denotes. Okay, if you sense the name substantive, it means that providing people with something that is tangible. Okay. Therefore, it is about what government is going to do. On the other hand, procedural policies are the policies that are associated with how something is going to be done. It is how. In the substantive policy, it is about what the government is going to do. But in the procedural policy, it is about how something is going to be done. If it is construction of highways, how it is going to be constructed. If it is a payment of welfare benefits, how it is going to be paid, and who is going to do it. Okay, who is going to construct highways? Who is going to pay welfare benefits? Therefore, procedural policies is about how and who aspect of policies. Okay, therefore, for example, which agency are responsible for enforcement of law enacted to ban or control illegal drug trafficking or consumption? Okay, therefore, procedural policies are about how something can be done and who is going to do it. Acts that lay out processes for carrying out administrative functions for a given policy. How? Okay, but procedural policies are acts. It tells about the acts. Okay, how it is going to be acted. Okay, how the process will pan out. Okay, how the administrative functions will be undertaken is a major concern of procedural policy. Distributive, regulatory, self-regulatory, and redistributive policies. This classification of public policy is based on the impact on the society, based on the impact of the policy on the society. The policy based on impact policy can be classified as distributive, regulatory, self-regulatory, or redistributive policy. Okay, based on the impact and as the relationship among the those involved with participating in policy formation. To start with, distributive policy involves the distribution of services or benefits to a particular segment of people. Okay, individuals, groups, corporations. Okay, it can be communities. Okay, but it is about distribution of benefits to the vast number of. It is about distributing. Okay, it is about distributing benefits to the person. For example, tax concessions. Okay, tax deductions. When the government makes tax discount is for example, large-scale industries, then those the industries in the category of the large scale will be benefited. Then that is distributive policy. Free public school education. When government decided to give the education free, then everyone will get the benefit, and it is a kind of distribution of benefits to the vast number of people. Okay, distributive policies typically involve the use of public funds to assist the particular groups or communities or industries. For example, when goods in the market are scarce. Okay, for example, the production in the country may be reduced due to different things, maybe due to drought or different. Then government can use the public funds and import the goods and then distribute to the public. That is a distributive policy. Okay, those who seek benefits usually do not compete directly with one another. Beneficiaries of the distributive policies do not compete directly with one another. Okay, and distributive policies appear to create only winners, no specific losers. There is no win-lose pattern in the distributive policy. There is just winners. Okay, there is just winners in the distributive policies. Redistributive policies involve a deliberate effort by the government to shift the allocation of wealth, income, property, or rights among broad classes or groups of the population. For example, haves and have-nots, the proletariat and the bourgeois. Okay, sometimes government make a deliberate effort to shift wealth from one group to another. For example, from the haves to have-nots, from the bourgeois to the proletariat sometimes. Okay, those who in some countries, the wealth of the country, the resources of the country can be presided over by few individuals in the country. Therefore, the government may make a policy that shifts the ownership of the asset from the haves to the have-nots and from the bourgeois to the proletariat. Okay, or that kind. Okay, it is a deliberate effort. It is a decision. Socialist governments in the world have implemented such policies by large. The use of the usual pattern in redistributive policy is a shifting of resource from haves to the have-nots. Redistribution policies are difficult to secure because they involve the reallocation of money, rights, or power. It is very difficult to implement redistributive policies because people, the haves, will not be voluntary to shift their resources, their power, also to their right to the powerless or to those who have no right, those who have no money. Okay, will you be voluntary to give your money from the pocket to another without your willingness? I don't hope so. Then it is very difficult. Okay, it requires discipline. Okay, it requires discipline. And redistributive policy can be in the form of welfare, in the form of housing subsidies, in the form of progressive income tax, in the form of social security, etc. But the point is that redistributive policies are the deliberate efforts of the government to shift resources from one group of society to another group of society. Regulatory policies. Regulatory policies involve the imposition of restrictions or limitations on the behavior of individuals or groups. Okay, it is about preventing people from not doing something. Okay, it is preventing institutions or organizations from not doing something. It is about putting limitations or restrictions on the behavior of individuals or groups. Okay, regulatory policies reduce the freedom to act of those who are regulated. Okay, those who are regulated can be organizations, can be individuals, can be enterprises, can be any form of groups. Okay, it limits the freedom. Not do that. You can't act like that. It makes limitation. Okay, in this sense, they differ from distributive policies, which operate to increase the freedom. Distribution policy is a paradox of the regulatory policy. Regulatory policies put limitation on freedom, while distributive policies try to widen the freedom of its beneficiaries. Therefore, the two are opposite. The regulatory policies are often applied to businesses and corporations to impose good business practices. Okay, it is to shape the business operation of the corporations and the business entities in the best interest of, in the safety of the environment and the people. For example, if the industries, if there are industries in a given community and they emit carbon dioxide, then a government may put regulatory policy on the industrial emission of carbon dioxide. Therefore, it is about putting limitations. For example, government can regulate criminal activities, it can control pollutions, it can control gun trafficking, it can control the trafficking and the use of drugs. Okay, therefore, regulation, rules that are preventing or limiting the doing of something, or the behavior of individuals or groups. Material and symbolic policies. Public policies may also be described either material or symbolic, depending upon the kind of benefits they allocate. Okay, this classification is based on the benefits they allocate, and based on the benefit the public policies allocate, they can be material policies or can be symbolic policies. Material policies can be described as the proposed actions or framework that have tangible benefit to the target groups. Okay, giving tangible benefit to the target groups. Okay, when, for example, public policy gives resources, okay, tangible resources to the beneficiary, then that can be material policies. If it allocates, helps, like for example, government gives food goodies that will be used for food, or goodies that will be used for housing, then that is material policies. Material policies actually either provide tangible resources to their beneficiaries. The benefits or effects can be physically seen and quantified by the people. Okay, tangible, it should be tangible. Therefore, their effects are obvious. For example, financial assistance to jobless. Okay, for example, government can give funds to the youth or to the women groups so that they can start their own business. Therefore, the effect is obvious. Symbolic policies are policy actions that appeal to the ideals and values of the people. Okay, policies with regard to the values, to the customs, to the habits, okay, of to the culture, okay, of the people. Therefore, they cannot be quantified, okay, intangible. Okay, the specifications of those policies are related to values, not something that can be materially given. Okay, their effects are not tangible and cannot be felt physically by the policies target groups. They appeal to the cherished values of the people, such as peace, patriotism. Okay, if there is, for example, policies with regard to keeping peace, to promote patriotism, to realize the social justice. For example, the policies that are more of related to the values, okay, to the values that cannot be seen, but the policy preserves the values, the policy protects the values, the policy take care of the values and the norms, the habits, the practices, but the policy cannot, benefits cannot be felt physically. Liberal and conservative policies, another taxonomy of public policy, is that the policy can be liberal policy or conservative policy. Liberal policies favor the use of government to bring about social change. Interference of government is more of preferred by the liberal policies, usually in the direction of greater equality. The liberal policies believe that government has to involve in the process of bringing social change, especially in the direction of greater equality, to bring about equality, equity, and justice in the society. Then government has to involve. While contrarily, the conservative policies oppose the use of government to bring about social change. Okay. Liberalism spoke of the need for public policies to correct injustice and the shortcomings in the existing social order. Liberalism says that the government has to interfere and adjust injustices, shortcomings. Okay, but the conservatives are well contented with the existing order. They found the existing conditions satisfactory. Okay, or they contend that change should occur slowly and gradually through natural social processes, not through the interference of government. By and large, those who advocate economic regulatory programs are liberals, whereas conservatives oppose economic regulations. Okay, economic regulations is not the interest of the conservatives. Conservatives say economy has to operate on its own. Government should not regulate the economy, while liberal policies goes opposite. Liberals support economic regulatory programs, whereas conservatives oppose economic regulations. Okay, generally, liberal policies are productive of change, while products of change, while conservative policies maintain existing order. It means that I think there is something wrong with the typing. Generally, liberal policies are change-oriented, okay, while conservative policies maintain the existing order. Let us see some important terms in understanding public policy, and the first one is policy statements. Okay, the policy statements are the formal expressions of public policy, a written document. Okay, a written document, a written form of public policy is a policy statement, or are policy statements. Policy inputs are the resources contribute to a program, project, or policy. Okay, for example, human resource, financial resource that are used for policy implementation are policy inputs. Policy outputs are the actions actually taken in pursuance in implementation of policy decisions and statements. Example: number of schools built, a number of roads rehabilitated or built, a number of people employed, taxes collected. Actions, okay, actions in the implementation of public policy are called policy outputs. Policy outcomes, on the other hand, is defined as a specific dimension of well-being and progress of people. It is a result, okay. For example, the impact, okay, the impact of the policy. What the impact the policy has brought, what change the policy has brought, using the inputs, okay, financial resource and human resource, time resource, and by taking actions, then what the impact, what impact was observed. For example, is there increase in literacy? Is there improved livelihood? Is there increase in farm to market products? Okay, is the life expectancy increased? Okay, what effect? Okay, what impact is observed? This is called policy outcome. Therefore, as a public policy student, you have to, or as someone who is interested in understanding public policy, you have to differentiate between those terms: policy statements, policy inputs, policy outputs, and policy outcomes. Okay, you can understand them by internalizing the terms very deeply, and then you can own the knowledge. This is all about this today's tutorial, and if you are interested, you can subscribe to my channel and follow other videos in the channel.